Hey there, I'm Mari, and here at this channel, we aim to share with you some family history stories, fun facts, and interesting trivia of some of your favorite YouTubers. Please take a minute to subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss the latest info. Today, I'm going to share with you some fun facts about Chandler Hallow's name. If you aren't familiar with Chandler, he's the youngest member of Mr. Beast crew and has participated in a ton of Mr. Beast challenge videos. These videos often show Chandler as hungry, afraid of unusual things like pickles, and a bit immature. But these are some of the things that make Chandler so endearing to Mr. Beast fans and has made him a household name. So today we're going to talk a bit about Chandler's name. One of Chandler's favorite shows is reported to be Friends, which first aired 4 years before Chandler was born. The show was extremely popular and ran for 10 seasons, ending in May 2004 when Chandler was 9 years old. Now, it's possible that this successful show and the sarcastic and witty character of Chandler Bing influenced Chandler's parents to naming him so. But as we dig a bit further into Chandler's family past, we find that Chandler was actually a family name, the maiden name of his great-great-grandmother, Irene Chandler. Irene Chandler was born in Indiana in 1904 to her parents John Chandler and Amy Belch Chandler. Like most rural Indiana folks, John was a farmer. John was born in Austin, Scott County, Indiana on June 12, 1886 to Samuel Chandler and his wife, Margaret Munden Chandler. Samuel was born in Kentucky in 1837, but moved with his family to Indiana before 1850. During the Civil War, when he was 27 years old, Samuel enlisted in the Union Army. He enlisted on February 2, 1865. Samuel served as a corporal in Company C of the 145th Indiana Infantry Regiment. He was one of hundreds of men from Scott County, Indiana, who joined the Union forces. Over 210,000 Hoosiers, or people from Indiana, enlisted in the Union Army over the course of the war. Service in Samuel's regiment included a few skirmishes, including fighting at Spring Place, Georgia in February and Tunnel Hill, Georgia in early March. Samuel's regiment also guarded the railroad in Georgia until late in January 1866, when the regiment was disbanded. The railroad played a critical role in providing logistical support and supplies to both the Confederate and the Union armies. If the armies could cut off supplies for the opposing forces, the enemy wouldn't be able to subsist for long. So, while Samuel's work guarding the railroad may not seem as glamorous as fighting in high-profile battles, he helped play a crucial role in the Union Army's success. This was a pretty great family to be named after. So, now that we know a bit about how Chandler may have got his first name, let's talk a little about how he got his last name. Yes, he was born with it and it was passed down from his father, but did you know that Hallow wasn't always the surname of Chandler's paternal line? Chandler's great-grandfather, Joseph, was born on July 15, 1893, in a town called Hamana in the area in what was then known as Syria, but is now the central part of Lebanon. When he was about 3 years old, he immigrated with his mother Mary and arrived in New York in 1896. When he was about 11 years old, Joseph's mother returned to Syria, and Joseph migrated from New York and settled in North Carolina in January 1910. In 1920, Joseph lived with his married sister Camellia and her family in Goldsboro, North Carolina. Between 1890 and 1920, about 360,000 immigrants from Syria and surrounding areas left their homelands for political, economic, religious, and safety reasons. This is about 1/3 of the area's population. Many of them came to the Americas anticipating making money and returning back to Syria, like Joseph's mother. However, about 2/3 of those who immigrated chose to stay and even encouraged family members in their homelands to join them. Many Syrian and Lebanese people settled in the northeastern states, but some groups dispersed throughout the country. They often went to work in factories or opened their own businesses. They lived in places where there were lots of people who wanted to buy things, and this made Lebanese and Syrians a lot of money. Joseph started out as a clerk in a dry goods store when he lived with his sister. In 1923, Joseph married Magdalene Cannon, who was also from Syria. Her father was a dry goods merchant. Shortly after marrying Magdalene, Joseph Rabel, yes, Rabel, not Hallow, declared his intention to become a citizen of the United States, the first step in the naturalization process. Next, Joseph had to complete a petition for naturalization. He signed the petition on February 7th, 1928. By then, Joseph and Magdalene were the parents of 3 daughters, Mary, Agnes, and Josephine. Joseph took his oath of allegiance, the final step in the naturalization process, on May 21st, 1928, just 3 months later. It was at this point that he also changed his name from Rabel to Hallow. In 1930, Joseph Hallow and his family, to which was added a son, lived in the same house as they had lived 7 years earlier, and Joseph owned a dry goods store. 2 more sons joined Joseph and Magdalene's family, including Chandler's grandfather. Joseph died on July 22nd, 1980, just a week after his 87th birthday. Joseph lived a full life, and he and his wife raised 6 children and had numerous grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Chandler never met his great-grandfather, who died 18 years before Chandler was born. Through Chandler and his siblings, the Hallow, Rabel, and Chandler legacies live on. If you like this video, please take a look at some of our other videos and drop a comment below on whose story you'd like to hear next.